The Bang Dream Extra booster sets are out in English, and as a Bang Dream fan, let's talk about some of the more interesting cards. We're gonna cover 4 cards for each band. Why 4? Honestly, I think I'm gonna get suited by the clock tower if I do one more card. So welcome to the new series that I will probably not stay on track with, and that it doesn't even have a name. I really do need a punchy name, maybe like 4 cards in 4 minutes. I'll work on it later. So here we go. Poppin Party. We're gonna start off with a guilty pleasure of mine. I typically don't like Poppin Party songs. At least that's what I tell people. I secretly listen to them like all the time. Poppin Party is mono red and they contain a new door and standby climax combo. I don't want to cover the climax combos because it's pretty much just gonna be all climax combos, but this is going to be your new Poppin Party deck. Astral Harmony Arisa states that on attack, this card gains 3k power for the turn and climax combo. On attack, you reveal a copy of herself from your hand, place it in your stock, and you pop your climax. So that is the cost. That entire effect right there. That is the cost you have to pay. Then you could blind stock. Top check up to 2 cards from the top of your deck and add up to 2 Poppin Party characters, then you ditch the rest. The climax is a standby and a standby when triggered. That is pretty solid. She gains hella power, and because you are playing standby, you can run this Tai Hanazono to increase some soul output. What are you bringing out? You can bring out this Saya that does have a climax combo, but with a different climax. And she doesn't get power either. You can run this one from previous sets, and that is honestly a more viable option. But I like Saya, so I will be running the Saya. Don't listen to me for deck building advice, please. Astral Harmony Remy is on play heal and climax combo. On attack, you can pay 1, ditch 1 Astral Harmony Saya. You burn 1 twice. The climax is a 1k1 and a door when triggered. Super quick, this is what that Saya does. I do recommend this card in just about any Poppin Party deck. That is definitely lethal, but you do need to have 3 copies of the specific card in your hand to get max value. I think with 2 you'll still be getting your max value because you still have your swing with all other cards as well. What is solid is that you're burning 1 twice, not in a big block. You are minimizing the chances of canceling, and that is super solid. Breakthrough Kasumi can possibly be your secondary level 3. If she is in your front row, all your Poppin Party characters gain 1k5 power. And on attack, you can pay 2, ditch a Breakthrough Arisa, mill the top card of your deck, burn equal to the level of the cards milled, +1. Again, this is what the Arisa does. That is super solid. Not on a climax. You are going to need that Arisa, but that can easily be doable. Also, the 1k5 power boost to all your characters, including herself, is solid in its own right. The last card we're going to talk about are the bomb pairs. Here we have setting sights on the contest level 1 Tai and the level 0 Arisa. Both their effects are when this card attacks, you can pay 1, choose an opponent's character, and they lose a level. And they are level bombs as well. You can effectively get rid of a level 2 character by leveling it down with the Tai, and you can do the same with the level 1s with the Arisa. The one thing about this is that they are on reverse, so your opponent can just encore it back. Alright, one more card. Straight Through Our Dream Kasumi has Act. Put a Poppin Party character from your hand into your clock and rest this card. Draw 2. That is right. You get a second clock phase. Run 4. Do not listen to me for deck building advice. Because I'm limiting myself to 4 cards, I am missing a lot of solid cards. There's a Searching Brainstorm Saya, the Tai that top checks your deck. You either mill it or keep it in 2 different states of the game. The Anti-Bouncer Kasumi, the Tai that lets you memory shoot a character for a turn so you don't have to worry about it. There's a lot of good cards here. Also, side note, while I was writing the script, the images on the Weiss Schwarz website were all dead, so we'll see if it's working by the time I'm filming this. So let's get on with the new band in the Bang Dream canon, Morfonica. I'm not the biggest fan of the Morfonica originals, but the covers, my god, the covers are so good. This is their first release along with the trial deck. They will be getting more support in the form of the introduction set and the 5-year anniversary set releasing in JP later this year. Morfonica is split between blue and yellow. Astral Harmony Nanami states that if you have 2 or more other characters, this gains 1k power and climax combo. On attack, if you have our music in play and another character, you can ditch a character. Top check up to 5 cards, add 2 characters. The climax is a 1k1 and a choice when triggered. Obviously, this is good. This is your Morfonica level 1 combo. He is going to be at 6k5, but this is great hand filtering and a great way to increase the deck speed. Plus, you're going to be using your waiting room quite a bit with Morfonica because their gimmick is kind of changed. Spoiler alert, but you probably already knew that. Astral Harmony Mashiro is on play heal. She gains 500 power for each other character and climax combo. When damage dealt by this card is cancelled, if you have Daylight in play and 4 or more other characters, you could pay 2. Send this to your memory. Call a character from your waiting room to the stage. The climax is a 1k1 and a choice one. Now, pay 2 does sound a bit steep, but if you have played 8 choice slime, you're fairly prepared for this effect. So when it's cancelled, you get the swap effect going. You are going to get a potential of 3 extra swings. What is good is that this is after you trigger, so you're gonna have some stock left. If you tri-field these, there's no issue, because if your opponent cancels, you get to just pop this, get another one on the field. But if it sticks, you swung for 3. If your opponent's at level 3, you're halfway done with the game. Although it would be nicer if it was like regardless, just like the Rimuru. But the Rimuru also healed and this does not. This is still a solid effect. Could be a whole lot better, but this is still pretty solid. Now let's say you want to save on some stock. Don't worry, we got you covered. On Violin, Rui states that when you play this card from your hand and you have 2 or more other characters, you could draw one, ditch one, and act, pay 1, send her to the waiting room, choose a character equal to or lower than your level, and play it on the stage where this card was. And we also have Astral Harmony Futaba. She is a pay 1, tap self-searching brainstorm, and act. Ditch 2 cards, pop this card. Same effect as the Rui. Now the Futaba is arguably the better card. It has more utility with the brainstormers, but what is great about both of these cards is that you pay the cost, then you call the character. That means that you could effectively call out the cost. Do you want to tri-field, but you kind of don't have that much hand left? That is okay. Ditch the Mashiro, you could pay 1, call the other Mashiro that you just ditched. You don't want to spend that much stock, but you got enough cards in your hand? You don't have any stock at all, but you got a hand? Futaba will work just fine. Also, the Mashiros are not gonna heal you, so you better win this turn. The last Morfonica card is Summerly Tone Nanami. She is on play from hand. You can choose up to 1 character with a level equal to or lower than your level, and you play it onto the stage. Hint, hint. And that character gains a soul for the turn. And on attack, you could pay 4, choose one of your characters, and that character gains the following ability until the end of the turn. Once per turn, when damage dealt by this card is cancelled, burn for the same amount of damage. Holy shit. That pay 4 is pretty steep, but you could save some stock with the previously mentioned card effects. If you are a god on stock, you can drop a Nanami, play the Mashiro from your hand, get the heal, call another one from your waiting room using one of the earlier card effects, and there you have a full field with only playing 2 or 3 stock. But do remember, the Mashiro needs an entire field for her effects to pop off. Also, remember everyone, Weiss Schwarz is a resource-heavy game. Here is one of my favorite bands in Bang Dream, A Suilen. Praise Risa Sumugi. So with A Suilen being my favorite band out of the 4 that are featured, their cards aren't that flashy or exciting as the other bands, I'm gonna be completely honest. A Suilen is a split between green and blue. Raoshun Craziness 2 Masking states that when this card is placed on stage from your hand, this gains 1k5 power for the turn and climax combo. On attack, if you have Pushing for her dream in play, choose one of your music characters and they gain the following ability for the turn. On reverse salvage, the climax is a 1k1 and a gold bar when triggered. Alright. You already know the play with this. Give all the effects to a single character that you know is gonna get a reverse so you can get the salvage. What sucks so badly is that this card needs to attack to give out that effect. Ruby has a similar effect to this, but that card just has to be on the field for it to activate. She's gonna be at 7k power on climax, so most likely you're gonna be reversing some things. At most, you're only getting 3 salvages, assuming they don't back you up. You can also run the Depths Lock. She is a 500 power level assist. And when you use Accelerate, if this card is in stand, you could rest this card. Stock charge a music character. So you get a level assist pretty early in the game, and it's A Suilen, so it's gonna be 8 gold bar. You get clean stock while you thin out your future deck. Solid card. Speaking of gold bar, the Music Doesn't Lie Masking is on play from hand, climax ditch salvage, and on attack, all of your characters gain the following ability. When you trigger a gold bar, you could draw one, ditch one. Oh, that's all it does. Now, I added this because as the best gold bar player on the internet, and maybe the only gold bar player on the internet. I like hand fixtures, although this has to attack to get that effect. That is a little counterintuitive because I want this effect when this card is not on the field. So, I mean, it's something at least. Rauch and Craziness 2 Layers states that during this card's battle, your opponent cannot play events from their hand. And on play from hand, search a character and climax combo. On attack, if Beautiful Birthday, which that song rips, is in play, you could ditch 2 cards, burn 2, then look at the top card of your opponent's deck and either keep it at the top or at the bottom. The climax is a 1k1 and a gold bar when triggered. Now that is actually pretty good. Like I mentioned, there is nothing too wild or crazy with these card effects. You do need the hand size, but you are running gold bars, so you're gonna be fine. So with 2 of these, this is game. If we are not talking about banned league rules, run the Mashiro from the trial deck as a just in case, because you're gonna be running those climaxes to the bottom. Might as well get some burns out of that too. Bonus card. This lock states that on attack, you look at the top card of your deck, and if it's an event, a Poppin Party character, or a A Suilen character, you give another character 3k power. So, why am I talking about this? Poppin Party does not have any green cards. So you're gonna have to really work hard to get this to work in a Poppin Party deck. But lore-wise, this is phenomenal. Also, I would love if she gave the 3k power to herself. He doesn't. That would warrant running this card more, but you can run this with your level 1 combo to get some extra just in cases in your reverse. Although it would be better if that masking was just not on attack. That way you could toss one in your back row, have the lock in your front row, then you have max value. We can't all be winners, huh? We can't all be winners. We're gonna end with Roselia. You love him, but your wallet hates him. Rauch and Craziness 2 Akko states that when you play a climax, you could draw one, ditch one, and she's a pay 1 tap 2 brainstorm where you mill 5 cards and for each arch hit, you salvage. You're running this in your 8 arch deck, which is, not gonna lie, the new Roselia build, so to speak. Especially now since there's some more incentive for the Akko. Mill 5 is quite a bit. The downside is that you do have to rest 2 cards. That's not really a downside now, is it? If you're building a pure extra booster set Roselia deck, and you totally can, you are gonna need this if you're using just the extra booster set to build a Roselia deck, and just in general, this is super solid in arch-based decks. This is specifically for all you Birdcage Diva players out there. Speaking of arch, let's get those climaxes out of the way. Rauch and Craziness 2, the Squeakle Lisa, states that when you play this card from your hand or the deck, you could pay 1, play a copy of herself from your deck onto the stage. And climax combo, on attack, if you have It's Getting Exciting, in play, you could pay 1, ditch 1, look at the top 2 cards of your deck and rearrange them in any order. Then you burn equal to the amount of copies of herself that you have. The climax is a 1k1 and an arch when triggered. So this incentivizes on having a low amount of Lisas, because that way you're able to burn for a low number. Or you could just try field them and have almost 3 extra attacks. Because it's on attack, pay cost, top check 2 to rearrange, burn, then trigger. Because you can't ditch the cards. This is less getting the climaxes to cancel and more optimizing your triggers. Although if you top check a climax, you just keep moving it down the pile. Watch this video if you need any help. Here is a hypothetical. You can technically win with 1 attack, but a tri-field of these. You front attack once, place your trigger, that's important, on the top, an actual soul trigger on the top. You burn for 3, you swing for 4. That is technically game right there. It isn't going to work, but it is possible. And not to brag though, but my opponent did get me from 0-6 to 2-1 during bro. I'm that good. There's your finisher. Here's your level 1 combo. It's Rinko. Here's what she does. It's a really good effect, and I do recommend running her if you do plan on making an 8 arch deck. Unfortunately for me, I'm not doing 8 arch. You know what's coming. 2 Rauch, 2 Craziness Sayus on play heal and on attack. If you have Over the Future live in play and you have another Roselia character, your opponent mills the top 20 cards of their deck. The climax is a 1k1 and a book when triggered. This right here, one of my favorite cards in the whole set, and you bet your ass I'm going to be building this as a deck. That's all it does. On attack, mill 20. Try field this and your opponent is milling 60 cards from their deck. Why is this a thing? Is this lore? Absolutely not. The goal of this card is to get that refresh damage going. You're going to need a secondary level 3 finisher for sure, though. The last card in Roselia are the global backups. Live's finale, Lisa states that all your Roselia characters in your hand gain pay 1, 2k5 backup, and Act, pay 1, rest this card. Top check 2 cards from the top of your deck. Add a level 1 or higher card to your hand, and then you ditch the rest. And Avant-Garde History Rinko states that all your Roselia characters in your hand gain 1k5 backup. And this effect activates up to 3 times per turn. When you use a backup, you gain an additional counter step this turn. That is right, you get up to 4 counter steps with this card. Isn't that like a Dragon Ball Super thing? I think it is. I don't play that game anymore. I like this. I like this a lot. You probably aren't running this, but this is a unique effect, we gotta admit. You can use the level 1 Rinko to load up your hand and then use this card to counter up to 4 times. That's a bad play, but it is a thing. And there we have some of the more interesting cards to me. This set is pretty fun, and it does add some well-needed cards to Morfonica and A Suilen. And that is where we're gonna end today's video. Did you purchase the set? What deck are you running and why? Is it 8 choice? Because you like Morfonica, or is it because some JP player told you that the deck was good? Shout out to all my channel members over here to the right. If you want to be a channel member, you get your videos early, you join the community Discord plus other perks. All you gotta do is hit that join button. It's that easy. Thanks again. Catch y'all later.